Audience, I would like to move towards the literature review. Goethe once said, the person who knows only one language doesn't truly know the language. Richard Amato opines attitude toward self, the teacher, the teaching the language and the people who speak it. The teacher and the classroom environment seems to have an influence on acquisition. Orbesch said, prohibiting the native language which the context of ESL instruction may impair language acquisition precisely because it mirrors the disempowerment relations. There are some 5 cognitive processes in order to explain second language acquisition. Seliger said, language transfer, transfer of training, strategies of second language learning, strategies of second language communication, and overgeneralization of target language linguistic material. Now, I would like to say that 150 students and 20 teachers from Bahawalpur, Pakistan participated in this study. If we talk about the methodology of this research, it was descriptive in nature, the approach was quantitative, and the random sampling was done. Questionnaire for the teachers and questionnaire for the students were used as a tool to collect the data from the respondents. And teachers' perceptions about using L1 in the classroom, that is, I prepared the questionnaire, and these were some graphic description, which I am going to present here. And again, that is a graphic description of that questionnaire, and the difficulties and the challenges in adopting L1 in the classroom. These were some questions and the statements, and that is their frequency. And that is the descriptive analysis of the second part of the questionnaire. Now, I would like to move towards the findings. The researcher found that teachers' attitude towards using L1 and teaching L2 were positively. Lack of interest in L2 encouraged teachers to use L1 to energize the students. Teachers also reported that to get the students come back to the classroom, they switch to L1. Because all the time, if the teacher is going to use the second language, it becomes very boring and hectic for the students to understand that. The teachers felt that the necessity to use L1 when the students seem to lose self-confidence. So the teacher have to switch himself towards the L1. They felt the need to depend on L1 in the teaching of abstract vocabulary. Overcrowded classes forced teachers to use L1 to instruct and control the learners. The course material allows the teacher either the use of L1 or L2. Overall, the results supported the hypothesis that the use of L1 in English language classes doesn't lessen the learner's quality, capability, and capacity to communicate well in second language. Rather, it assists, aids, and facilitates the teaching learning process. Now, I would like to move towards its conclusion. Mentla's famous quote on negotiating state, if I talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. The richness of a learner's L1 knowledge experience is unquestionably an accessible source of second language learning. Teaching a learner without his native language only disregards his identity and culture, but also puts him into newborn baby with an adult mind. The suggestions and recommendations of my study were bilingual children may develop more flexibility in their thinking as a result of processing information through 2 different languages. The impact and importance of L1 in learning L2 enhance significance of the study. L2 aspect affects the personality and the attitudes towards language learning. The students should be encouraged to share their thoughts in their target language. Teachers should use and adopt new and innovative learning strategies in their classes. The use of L1 may be beneficial in the EFL class, especially when the students have difficulty in understanding. It may represent resources that both students and the teacher share in common. And these were some references from which I got the help. And thanks for lending me your ears. And any question, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Muhammad. Anyone have a question? Ms. Ilham Shami, you can ask, please.
Yes, thank you so much for this so great research.
You are welcome.
And, since I'm a teacher of English, and I'm an Arab teacher, I'd like to ask, since it's allowed or it's okay to use the first language in teaching the target language, or while teaching the target language, to what extent can we use the first language? Sometimes we feel that the whole class goes with the first language, that we're teaching the second. So to what extent is it okay for us to use it? And thank you.
Thank you, Bam, for asking this very nice question. I appreciate your question. Actually, Bam, it depends on the teaching learning process. If the students are the beginners, then we have to use at least 50% L1 in the class just to make them conscious and the confident about the, especially for teaching the vocabulary, because it becomes very difficult for the teacher to translate every word into the second language again and again. So the students are unable to understand it. So the teacher should use, I think should try to make his students bilinguals and should try to use L1, not most of the time, but where he feels the students are feeling some problem, he should try to switch towards that language, L1. Mother tongue, I think it should be used.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Muhammad. Now we will go for our last paper.
So nice of you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Anyone have a question?
Dr. Ahmed Awad raised his hand. He wants to ask some questions.
I don't see him.
Again, I believe there is no time.
Okay, let's go.
I have to speak, please. I have to
go
say
on, please.
So give me the mic, please.
We can hear you, Doctor. We can hear you.
You hear me? So
yes,
things.
yes,
sir. Yes, I am hearing you.
2 comments, please. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for your presentation. Well, actually, this topic does not have consensus among researchers teaching foreign languages. Of course, since the primary aim of teaching a foreign language is communication, therefore, there is some risk if you keep allowing students talking in the mother tongue, what type of learning they will actually acquire. This is one. Second, this type of actually is based on contractive hypothesis, and you know it's old. This does not allow me to say I'm not with certain points of this theory. Sometimes when we find similarities in languages, it's better to save time than go ahead and say it in the mother tongue. But all in all, the percentage, the highest level of percentage out of your class and your activities should be focused on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Actually, as you were saying that the main purpose of teaching second language is to make them communicative competent. So accuracy and fluency, they must be focused while teaching the second language. So wherever the students are feeling some issue, I think the teacher should use the L1. He should get some assistance from that language to clarify their concepts. Because when the teacher is going to make them or teach them bilingually, their understanding will definitely be improved and their communicative competence will automatically be raised. Thank you.
Dr. Nashat, you can ask your question, please.
I'd like to comment something here. I do believe that totally using the first language, teaching the second language is not effective. Therefore, with some abstract ideas, with some abstract naming things, we can use the first language. If I sometimes try to encourage students, if I sometimes try to give them the some kind of information I might give them, for example, in Arabic. But whenever I start teaching, then English language is preferred, and we need to use it to make the students practice their second language in a more natural way. Anyone speaking?
Hello.
Can
Okay.
I have a slight comment, if you please?
Quickly, please.
Yeah, okay. As for the idea of not making the L1 language to interfere, I am with Dr. Muhammad. I think we do need to intervene it during our classes. There is a great difference between what we expect from our students and the reality. We all agree that the syllabus is so weak and there is a great weakness in our students. So I do believe we need to use it to a certain extent. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That's why I selected this topic to present here. Because in the Pakistan, we have to teach the English as a second language. And over here, we have a number of mother tongue the students are going to use. So while teaching them, especially the English language, if the teacher is going to get the help, get some assistance from a mother tongue to some extent, he can make the students communicative competence, and automatically they can try to speak the language, because we can we can also increase their vocabulary if we are going to get the help or get some assistance, or we are going to get some support from mother tongue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Muhammad.
So nice of you, ma'am.
Now,
So nice of you, ma'am, for letting me or giving me this chance to present my work at this forum. Nice to meet all of you.
Thank you. Okay, now we have the last paper with Dr. Hisham Abdelwafi and Ms. Atika Dehemshi, and their paper will be about teaching English and French in the 21st century. Can music help university foreign language learners improve their pronunciation and vocabulary skills? Dr. Hisham Abdelwafi is a PhD researcher at the Universitat Internacional de Catalonia, Spain, and a lecturer at the African University of Ahmed Rai Adrar, Algeria. Ms. Atika Dehemish is a PhD researcher at the University of Joris, Toulouse de France, and a lecturer in English at the University of Abdel Hamid Ibn Badis, Algeria. Doctors, you have 15 minutes, and then we will have 5 minutes for questions. The mic is for you, please.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mortada, for your presentation. Hello, everyone. Okay, my topic for today's presentation, as Ms. Mortada said, is teaching English and French in the 21st century using the help of songs. It is known that teaching a new language is not easy, especially for adults who get bored of their long journey at schools. They have been studying since their childhood the same things in the same ways. That is why teachers need to get their attention and ambition back. Okay, in the 21st century, the teaching learning is becoming more and more creatively developed. This later generation is witnessing a new era in different domains thanks to technology, including the teaching and learning process, which keeps updated and developed through time. Many methodologies came and keep coming to the foreign language classrooms life, such as using games, movies, pictures, and even songs. These methodologies are emerged to enhance the learner's foreign language, to motivate the learners, and to facilitate the task for both teacher and learner, and also to make the target language last forever. Why songs? We are all touched by songs in a way or another, in different way, or differently speaking. Our ears receive songs daily, everywhere we go. On radio, cars, buses, supermarkets, everywhere. They are even used as a therapy and surgeries to help doctors relaxing, also to help patients. Like Tim Murphy said, in our time, it is hard to escape music and songs as it occupies even more of the world around us. In operating the theaters, restaurants and cafes, shopping malls, at sports events, in our cars, and literally everywhere. It would seem that the only place music and songs is slow to catch on is in schools. Songs and the brain. Scientifically speaking, and according to Harvard Medical School neurologist and psychiatrist David Silverberg, by listening to our favorite tunes, we are activating many different parts of the brain, including the amygdala and the hippocampus, which play a role in emotions and memories. Differently speaking, these amygdala and hippocampus are the responsible of emotion. Are the responsibles of emotions and memories. So these are the keywords to get the attention of the learners. We need to touch their emotions to make the language last and memorized. Adults and learning. There are always some debates on whether the adult's second language acquisition is easy or not. Some researchers believe that adult second language acquisition is easy. However, some other researchers have proposed the opposite view. They say that adult second language acquisition is not easy at the children's native language acquisition. This is what Faye and Quinzu said in their Theory and Practice in Language Studies in 2016. Songs to improve adults' foreign language pronunciation and vocabulary. We all crossed an adult, at least, with headphones on a mobile or using songs expression in their conversations. This new generation is infected by songs and singers. They speak, dress, walk, and behave like their favorite ones. So recent research point that motivation is needed to get students' attention. And since this latter is motivated by songs, so why not to make it a way to teach and learn foreign languages? How it works. Bringing songs to foreign language classes help both teacher and learner. Playing songs help to get students' attention, at the same time motivate them to learn and participate in class. When they love the song, when they know that song and the singer, they keep talking to show their friends and their teachers that they know the song, they know the lyrics, they know the singer, so they are motivated to participate and to have a debate in class. Helps to improve the students' pronunciation. by imitating the singer, which is the native or who is the native speaker. Every one of us, when we hear a song in any language, we try to sing and to imitate the singer. This is our nature. So by this way of imitating, we are learning and improving our pronunciation. Another point is to develop the students' listening and speaking skills, even reading and writing, of course. By listening to songs, they are working their ears to distinguish and understand speech with different accents. When we are speaking American English, it's not totally the same as British English. If we speak about French, French people do not speak the same as Canadian. So we see that different accent besides to different differences in using words. Learning and rising new vocabularies at ease. So they would understand that their favorite songs are about what they are about. They would use dictionaries. They would translate to their L1 language or even ask other people. They may download a video with lyrics and translate into L1 language. So learning the spoken English and French or even other language, the target language. Using vocabulary in different contexts. For example, a word could be used differently from one song to another. If we took here the example of the word hit in the song of Hit the Road Jack, the singer here means leave and get away, where the same word hit in the song of Wrecking Ball means hit, or when the singer, said, never hit so hard in love, she means never fall in love like this before. So the same word hit means different, is differently used from one song to another, and here we are enriching our context and vocabulary. Two surveys were given to different students of different countries. Survey number 1 concerns the French student and learning English, when the survey 2 concerns the Algerian student and learning French. Let's see the results. The first result, which concerned the French student about learning English language, when we asked them about if they do listen to songs, 100% of the respondents said yes, we do listen to songs. When we asked them about their reaction through songs, I mean, when they hear a song, do they feel comfortable? Do they react? Do they find themselves singing unconsciously? 90% of the respondents said yes, when 10% said no, maybe they were not focusing with the songs, maybe. When we asked them about their pronunciations, if their pronunciations have been developed or enhanced or modified by or thanks to songs, 80% of them said yes, when 10% said no, maybe because their average of pronunciation or they speak very well the target language. When we ask them about using songs, expression or words in their daily conversation, 100% of them said yes, we do use words from songs and expressions also in our conversation. When we ask them about what they think about using songs in English classroom, 100% agreed about using songs. And even 80% of them, they preferred, we see here 80% of the respondents preferred using songs rather than listening to teachers. Only 20% said we prefer listening to the teachers. And when we asked them about learning street language, the spoken language or the academic language, 70% prefer the street language because they would need it in their in their life, when they travel, when they have a conversation with stranger, they need the street language. They need a spoken language, not the academic one, especially with the native speakers. Moving to the second part, which deals with the results of the Algerian students about their learning French, sorry. When we asked them the same question, so 100% of the respondents said, we do listen to songs. 100% said we have reactions through songs, like we find ourselves singing unconsciously or dancing or moving our hands, fingers, whatever. So they have a reaction. When we ask them about their pronunciation, if it's enhanced or developed or corrected thanks to songs, 19% said yes. 10% they didn't, they prefer to not answer. Okay, so no answer here. When we ask them about if they use songs, words or expression in their daily conversation, 70% said yes, 20% said no, and 10% prefer to not answer. When we asked them about using about using songs in their French classes, 80% said we would like to use songs in the class rather than other thing, and 20% do not prefer songs. When we asked them also about using songs or listening to teacher, 70% of the respondents said that they prefer using songs when 30% prefer listening to their teachers. And when we asked them about street language or academic language, 70% prefer to learn the street language than the academic one, because what they need is to communicate with the French people, especially French people. They have what is called l'argot, which is it's a new language. It's not a new language, but it's a combination of a mixture. It's a mixture of different languages. They use Arabic language, Arabic words in their French conversation. They convert words. For example, they do not say start, they say rasta. Okay, so this is the street language, which is which is used more than the academic language, or in their point of view, it's needed more than the academic language. So to conclude, the results obtained from the surveys of students conclude that learners support the idea of using songs in foreign languages classes. They find that this methodology helps for better pronunciation and to learn more and more vocabulary with the culture, the context, in a short time and a motivating way. So to conclude, we say songs have to deal with teaching, learning foreign languages in all sorts. They help to enrich and develop all learner skills, listening, speaking, reading, writing, and even the cultural side. So thank you for your attention. If you have questions, I will be listening. Thanks.
Thank you so much for this important project. And I'm waiting for questions.
Thank you.
Anyone have a question? Yes. Miss Fatima Fathia Abu Madi, can you ask your question, please? Miss Fathia, you can open your mic.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this conference and for interesting presentation. Actually, I want to share my experience with Dr. Atika. I totally agree with her, because I've used music and songs as a conversation teacher for different levels. I use it with kids at a school and students at university, and this was very useful for them to learn, because they learn a language that they are not familiar with. Just like that, just what I want to say today.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you, Miss Abu Madi. Thank you.
You are highly welcome. And thanks for your presentation. That very useful.
Yes, I used this methodology with middle school, secondary school, and even at the university. When I teach at the university, sometimes I use this way to motivate and to create a good atmosphere in the class and to change it to be creative, you know. So, and the response was very, very, very impressive. So they were all participating, sometimes having a great debate, especially when they got the language, or even sometimes I allowed to use French or Arabic language in the class. So thank you, Miss Abu Mati.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. You have a question, Mr. Ahmed? See that Mr. Ahmed had a question.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Ahmed.
He's not answering. Okay, Miss Aisha Bashir Al-Amin, you can ask your question, please.
Hello everyone, and thanks for giving me this chance. What I want to say is that music even can improve the cultural background of that
Mrs.
language.
Aisha, you can open your mic.
When we listen to music, we can understand.
You about the link for registration
Yes,
on the chat on the Zoom. You can register now, and then we will have a break.
Miss Murtada, someone is asking question, please. Yes, who was speaking?
Who is
Someone was talking about learning cultural background through songs, etc. But she didn't finish her question. Lady, would you please repeat your question? We didn't hear your question. You just turn on your mic and you repeat your question, please.
Maybe she left the meeting because of internet.
Okay, you can, yes, you can write your question on discussion if the poll, if you want. Thank you, Ibrahim Mustafa, for your okay, give me the mic. Questions, and write down your questions if you want.
Mr. Ahmed.
Yes, hello everyone.
Yes, Amani Hassan
Yes,
wants
go on.
to ask a question.
Go on. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Mr. Mushtaq, can you open your mic and ask your question, please?
If you cannot speak, you can write down the question on the discussion if you want.
Okay, we can take the question
kind
from
of
the
music.
chat.
Okay. May I answer the question of Mr. Ahmed?
Okay, go on, please.
Okay, he said, and excuse me, and which kind of music to suggest? Okay, the kind of music I suggest, generally, when we are dealing here with adults, we need a music of adults like hip hop, rap music, R&B style, this kind of music. So just the example I gave you, Hit the Road, Jack and the Wrecking Ball of Miley, etc. We can use any songs that, or we can give a choices of song, and let's vote my kids to choose a song of today. And when they choose their song, we can work on it. Okay. Yes, a lot of them are inappropriate for children. Of course, they are inappropriate. You have to choose your titles. You don't give them the chance to give you the song, or at least when they give you the song, you can check it at home. You check the lyrics. If it is appropriate, you can use it as a tool to teach anything you want, grammars, oral, culture, anything. The question, is it enough to hear song without written words to be understood by children? No, I didn't say just hear song. When we are hearing the song, we are learning the 4 skills, because we are going to make the song play first. They are listening, and then we are going to show them the lyrics to correct their mistakes. So they are reading, and then you can also give them handouts of the lyrics, and you can give empty places. They listen to the song and they try to fill in the gaps. And after you show them the correct words, and they are learning. Okay, thank you for our organization. Okay, I hope that I answered your questions.
Thank you for all of you. We don't have enough time for more questions. Thank you for the perfect and important project.
Thank you
now
for giving me. Yes,
thank you so much.
Yes,
now
I just want to thank you for giving me the chance, and I just want to thank Mr. Hisham Abdelwafi for giving me the chance to be with you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We had some break, but now we didn't have more time to it, so we go to Dr. Monder to introduce us our 4th session, please.
لا مش بدناش هسه هي مديرة الجلسة ما تقدرش تدخل يدك.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. And it's my pleasure to be with you here today. And I'm very happy for the attendance today. It's very good and fruitful. Today is we are going now to the last session of today. And we have Dr. Muhammad Al-Aqad, who will be the keynote speaker of this session. Dr. Aqad is an assistant professor in translation and interpreting studies with more than 10 years of lecturing and teaching experience. Currently, Dr. Aqad is leading the translation and interpreting program at Management and Science University, Malaysia, and carries the faculty's research coordinator position. He has appeared as an invited speaker and presenter in more than 30 international conferences and published several scientific papers, book chapters, etc. Moreover, he sits on the editorial board of Language and Linguistics at Cambridge Scholar Board, UK. He will be presenting, his paper will be about what will the word and the translation industry look like after the pandemic. I call upon Dr. Aqad to take the floor. The floor is yours, Dr. Aqad. Dr. Muhammad, are you there?
Mr. Muhammad with us, please, Mr. Amr, give him co-host.
Done.
Dr. Muhammad, you are co-host now, you can proceed. Dr. Muhammad. Dr. Muhammad, are you there?
Dr. Muhammad was, now he is here. He is here.
Okay, can he now start his session? Dr. Muhammad, the floor is yours.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم شباب، سامعيني؟
نعم نعم تفضل.
تمام جدا الحمد لله. اعتقد كان في مشكله بالصوت. I think there was just a small problem with the technician. Okay. I hope the presentation is clear now.
Okay. Share the screen.
Yes, Dr. Muhammad, it's clear.
Yes, it's clear. You can go on.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So today my presentation is about the COVID pandemic and what will the word and translation industry look like after the COVID pandemic. So in this presentation, we will be able to discuss the pre, post, and while COVID pandemic. What's the issues is happening? What are the issues happening during COVID pandemic, and what is going to be or to happen after COVID? So first of all, as we all know, during the 2019, we have never expected such a pandemic. We have never expected such a pandemic, and I mean here, not only in translation industry, but the whole countries, the whole world, the whole globe was not prepared for the pandemic, for such pandemic, because we were never imagined such things is going to happen and to hit the world. So once this issue or this pandemic hit the world, most of the countries around the world started changing their strategies, changing the way of dealing with the issues or dealing with their own business. So here we can speak about the COVID pandemic. It was a kind of something has never been expected. And when it hits the world, it's almost pushed on almost every company in the world to embrace the online technology, which were not prepared before that. So moreover, also the translation and interpretation market, it was getting us a very special and a very huge hit by this kind of pandemic. So multinational companies, multinational and multinational organizations have had to transform their face-to-face activities into online activities or to online video conferencing since the beginning of March 2020. Also, using this virtual translation method, which have never experienced before, start being practiced from 2020. From court trial, medical appointment to government conferences, assisted learning, interpreters, simultaneous interpreters, and online conference presentation, which were never experienced before. Everything just hit the world in time. So all of these things started to replace day-to-day operation. So the move to remote participation, remote conferencing, remote meeting has opened up new needs for diversity and audience involvement as Zoom fatigue. Zoom fatigue also is discussed by the event organizer. So we mean here by Zoom fatigue, since we started the pandemic, most of the countries around the world, most of the schools, most of the universities start using Zoom. However, there is a kind of what we can call here is a kind of disadvantages for Zoom. There are many advantages, but also there are many disadvantages on the other side. One of the advantages here is when you try to have Zoom with the audience, the Zoom normally, or the human mind can fit from half an hour to 1 hour in order to be interactive with you and to cooperate with you. After 1 hour from watching you or watching the audience or watching the speaker on the Zoom, the audience themselves, they will start getting upset. And also they will start not concentrating on the activity or not concentrating on the content of the meeting. So here we start having the Zoom fatigue. Why this Zoom fatigue? Because only the presenters or only the speaker or only the meeting directors, they are only giving information or only feeding the audience, which is not the correct way. So here we have to engage the audience in order to have a very communicative, a very interactive meeting or a very interactive class even. So here we start discussing, many companies start discussing Zoom fatigue as an event organization. The new trend will allow participants, so this is the new trend of Zoom. The new trend will allow participants to join the online meeting, conferences, classes in their native language. So if you can see now, you can see I am speaking in English. However, the subtitle is there in Arabic. This is one of the most newest trends which initiated or launched by Zoom just a few months back. So in this case, when the speaker speaks in one language, the subtitle will be there automatically without any interference from a human. However, this subtitle, of course, is not 100% accurate, but it could be 75 to 80% accurate, which is better than nothing, better than leaving the audience without any information in the other language or in their own language. This is a very new trend, and nowadays Zoom is trying to sign a kind of MOU, a kind of a multinational organization and cooperation with Google in order to have the database or algorithm from Google. So in order to have a high rate of accuracy in terms of the translation for their subtitles. So when the audience or the speaker start speaking, the translation will be there in the other language or on the language of the audience. Okay, so with an accurate translation interpretation of the speakers, and also it's foster participation, inclusivity, and eventually increase, this will increase, of course, the possibility of success of the case or success of the meeting or success of the classroom, whatever. Okay, here, so this is what we have, what we call it, that when the COVID-19 has started, we suffered from these issues. And also, not only we suffered from some issues, but we experienced new things, we experienced new trends. So here, what we can see here, when we started the COVID-19, when we start getting the COVID-19, we got these things. What we call, first of all, we start having the online technologies, which we never experienced before. Also, we start having business gains. Some business have already gained, and now they start speaking with billions, not millions, with billions of USD. So one of these companies is, if we want to mention like Amazon, if you want to mention also like Alibaba, if you want to mention like Google advertisement, which has never experienced before to have more than 50 billion in 1 year, just from the revenue of advertisements for Google. Google just in mid 2019 until the mid of 2020, the revenue of their online advertisement, it's more than 50 billion USD, 50 billion, which has never Google experienced before. So some business has gained a lot, and some business, of course, lose a lot. Even there is some companies went bankrupt just because of this COVID-19. So we have also experienced face-to-face activities, which became from 100% become to maximum 20 to 30% face-to-face activities. No more face-to-face activities. All classroom, all meeting, all parliament meeting, all country and state meeting, everything has canceled and moved to online. Multinational companies start also get decreased and dropped in their business interpretation, which affected hugely by the COVID-19. However, if you want to compare translation with the interpretation, the translation has increased due to COVID-19 pandemic, has increased the rate. So translation before 2020, the worldwide revenue, it was around 45 billion before 2020. After 2020, it reached around 59 to 58 billion just after and during the COVID-19, after the the third quarter of 2020. The revenue of translation worldwide has increased. However, on the other side, the revenue of translation has dropped by 70%. 70% has dropped for interpretation. Why? Because not every company were ready, and not all companies were ready for simultaneous interpretation. Not every company and all companies were ready for what we call remote simultaneous interpretation, RSI. Not all companies. However, if you want to focus and if you want to emphasize on interpretation part, nowadays in the whole world there is only around 15 to 20 official companies and multinational companies. They are doing RSI, remote simultaneous interpretation. So they has just started their online platform in order to provide RSI, remote simultaneous interpretation. 20 company in the whole world. Imagine this, they have just started in 2020. What about before COVID-19? No one even was expecting and thinking to have such kind of methods or techniques for interpretation. So everything become a trend nowadays. Also, if you want to focus here, online video conferences become one of the famous trends nowadays, and most of the companies worldwide, they are in need for such activity and for such conferencing. Also, because video conferencing become very important nowadays, we have experienced many companies that can that have started or launched their online cloud in order to host meeting, same like Webex, same like Zoom, and many others. More than 50 to 60 companies, they have just started since 2020, the first quarter of 2020. They start preparing and launching their platform online in order to have and to have some availability for video conferencing, which was never before. Also, here, if we want to focus on online conferencing and Zooming and all these things, we have to focus on resilience and adaptability. Not every company can have an online conference and can succeed in this online conference. Many companies went bankrupt and lose their reputation, lose their fame just because or inability to handle online conferencing in the right way. So online conferencing also, it's a trick. It's a sword with two edges. Either you hold it and you organize it well. Sometimes if you organize it well and you manage to boost your revenue by online conferencing, on the other side, it may make you lose your reputation and lose your revenue. Okay, here it's a very interesting figure. Here we have to mention the effects on language service providers. Language service provider, here we are not speaking about a translation, but we are speaking in every single term or every single definition under language service provider, like editing, proofreading, translation, interpretation, transcription, localization, anything related to language, it will goes under language service provider. And also it includes consultation. So as of July and August 2020, the overall business has decreased by 55%. 55%. Here we mean everything, all language service providers has decreased 55. However, overall business has increased 20%. 20% has increased comparing to the previous years, has increased 20%. But in terms of dropping and losing, 55. Overall business here also, if you want to look here for overall business, the same, or some companies, they're trying to maintain their situation. Only 17%, which means 17% of the LSP companies which managed to maintain their position before and during the COVID-19. So here it's too soon to tell 80%, meaning that it's too soon to tell when COVID-19 is going to end or going to finish. Only 8% of LSP providers, they think it might end maybe by 2021 or mid of 2021, either by end or mid of 2021, 8% only. That means the expectation or the anticipation of ending COVID-19 is very low. Here we have the vertical market with decreased demand for translation. This is the area where we have to look. So for a travel and leisure, for the topics or translation of travel and leisure, if you want to translate, for example, for tourism companies, for tourist agents, all these. So here the percentage has decreased. The number of orders has decreased. Even for translation, we're not speaking about interpretation, we're speaking about translation, has decreased 88%. Why? Because even nowadays, during COVID-19, there is no more tourism. All tourism activities has been canceled. So there is no need for a translation for tourism and leisure activity. For hotels, no need, no more. There is a need to do translation for the hotels, brochure or menus, because there is no customers, there is no guests. So the percentage has decreased by 88%. For the events organization, conferences, all these has dropped by 87%. For airlines, 73%. Automotive companies or automotive agencies, 67%, which is almost 70% has dropped. For transportation, 64%. Here's the percentage of a drop for the need or for the demand for translation. Here we have also the percentage of staff working in-house. Here we need to mention a very critical point. As we all know, nowadays, many companies and the whole world start experiencing a very bad hit by the COVID-19. And what we can expect from these figures, we can expect most of the companies, around 85 to 90% of the companies, multinational companies worldwide, when the COVID-19 finish, of course, they will not have the same number of staff, which is this very, very critical. So let's say, for example, if I am working in such organization, after a few months or after 1 year after the COVID-19 finish, I may not work in the same company. The same company might has discontinued my contract or cancel my contract. Why? Because there is no need for me, and there is no need for my colleague. There is no need for my wife. There is no need for my brother. Why? Because nowadays we have experienced technology and we start using technology instead of the staff. This is the bad reaction or the bad backlash for the effect of COVID-19. So COVID-19 has make us learn a lot of things, push us very fast to adapt and to adopt technology. However, on the other side, this adoption of technology will make many hundreds, if not millions of staff to lose their jobs, because the company will start adopting their technology instead of their staff. So let's say some companies, they have 50 staff. After COVID-19 pandemic, I'm sure these companies will not have more than 20 or 25 of their staff. And the other 50%, of course, they will release them because no need for them. We have already gained our experience and we have managed to adapt ourselves with the technology. So no need for these stuffs. This is the bad backlash for the COVID-19. So if we mentioned here, for the before COVID-19, before the pandemic, many companies, they have their percentage of staff employment or employability, it was 77%, 77%. So at the height of pandemic, the staff who are going to their offices, only 13%. Okay, currently 35% of the staff going to their work. After the pandemic, only 57, or let's say 60, if not less than that. The number of staff will start going back to their offices. 50% out of 100. That means the other 50 will be gone. Okay. The highest trends for translation for 2020. Of course, since we started experiencing the pandemic, that means we will be having many trends day by day. If you can see like nowadays, there are some YouTubers, they have just started their own YouTubes, just uploading some fun video or some activity videos, and after a few months, you will see their subscriber by millions, literally by millions, which he or she just started a few months back. Now you can see he or she has 3 or 4 million subscribers. This is very critical and this is very important. This means we are going very fast to the technology. This, of course, will have a very bad backlash on us. Okay, here we have the highest trends of translation for 2020. The first trend, post-editing machine translation. Post-editing machine translation. Let me share with you a real example which I was involved in doing the translation for app, for mobile app, for the Singaporean immigration just last month. They sent me the content for the online app. They are trying to initiate an online app. This app will allow the visitors or the foreigners who are coming to their country in order to get their visa and in order to get their I-card or visa card, everything. Visa card here doesn't mean the visa financial card. No, the visa, the special permit when you enter the country. All this information will be stored on the mobile app, on your mobile app, on the system, on the immigration system, and everything will be automatically. Everything is going to be automated. So I have translated this software and the content for the software for them. So when I accepted the offer to do the translation and for their project, it was a huge project actually. When I accepted the offer, imagine what I got. I got the translation. They has translated the text. The original text is in English. They have translated the text by machine translation, and not only machine translation. There are kind of very sophisticated translation, not only Google translation, but they have a huge database which includes translation, which include Google algorithm, Papillon algorithm, and many other translation, machine translation, and the neural translation systems. They have created their own database from all world languages. So they have translated the text from English into Arabic. They have already translated text from English into Arabic, and they send me the text to do editing and revision for the text, not translation. Why? Because they have already translated the text into Arabic, and they sent it to me to do editing and revision. So
excuse me, Dr. Mohammed, we need some time for a question from your time.
Sure. Okay, I will finish maybe just a few minutes, less than 5 minutes. I'll be finishing, inshallah.
5.
Yes, inshallah. So they have gave me the text and they asked me to provide them quotation or price for editing the proofreading, not for translation, because they have already provided me the translation, which is machine translation and the neural system translation. So here is the trick. Here is the trick. The price or the quotation for editing the proofreading, of course, is totally different from a translation price or translation quotation. Let's say the translation quotation, it's a 20 cent USD. Let's say, for example, 20 or 30 cent USD. This is the translation. However, the editing and the proofreading percentage or price or quotation, it will not exceed 10 cent. It will not exceed 10 cents because the translation is there. You just need to edit and proofread. That's all. So when I start giving them the, before I start giving them the quotation, I asked them to have a look at the translation or the project. So when I saw the file, I found there was a huge mistakes in the translation. So directly I apologized to the lady and I say, sorry, I cannot accept such a project because it's totally not accurate and the translation is totally silly translation. It's not accurate at all. There's a lot of mistakes, grammatical mistakes and semantic mistakes. So from here and there, they start giving me 50, better than, meaning that not editing the proofreading quotation and not a translation quotation. It's between both. And I accept that. Why? Because I have to do editing and proofreading, but not the translation. But when I started the project, at the middle of the project, I found most of the translation is not a translation actually. And what I need to do, I have to retranslate the file from zero because the file is totally corrupted. The translation was very bad, so I have to retranslate, which took a lot of time and effort from my side.
Dr. Muhammad,
so, yeah,
please try to finish.
Yes. So here after this story, here we come the issue of trend, the first trend, which is post-editing machine translation. So most of the translation companies nowadays, when they got a translation offer, they do the translation by machine translation and they send it to the translator to do post-editing with a very cheap price. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, alhamdulillah. The second trend, which is Mandarin translation, Mandarin or Chinese translation, this become a very, very famous nowadays, and there is a huge demand on this, a huge demand on Mandarin and or Chinese translation. Also, the third trend, which is transcreation. Transcreation here, it's a kind of a creative translation for logos, for brands, for many things. The creative translation, this become one of the trends also. The fourth trend, which is video translation. Many companies nowadays, they are in a very high need or a very high demand for video translation for their companies. Okay, I think we are going to that. Okay, here we have an example of a transcreation. Here we have the pin or the logo of Parker. This is the pin Parker. So the logo, it said, it won't leak into your pocket. It won't leak into your pocket and make you pregnant. It won't leak into your pocket and make you pregnant. This is the translation of the logo. So the correct brand, so when the Parker pin expanded to Mexico, this is the Mexican translation, expanded to Mexico, they translated their slogan for the Spanish speaking part of Mexico, embarrass and embarrass. The word embarrass, they translated into embarrass. And it's actually, it sound and more similar, but the meaning is totally different. Therefore, it was probably assumed that these words have the same meaning. However, embarrass means impregnate in Spanish, which here it won't leak the meaning of the slogan. It won't leak into your pocket and embarrass you. This is the correct. It won't leak into your pocket and embarrass you. It means here the ink. However, the translation was, it won't leak into your pocket and impregnate you. Okay, I think, yeah, we can finish here because this is just.
To interrupt you, but the time, please.
Yeah, I think we can finish here because this is about remote simultaneous interpretation, which I have explained just a few minutes ago. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. Thank you very much for your informative presentation. And now the floor is open for questions. Please raise your hands if you want to ask any question. We'll ask Ilham Shami, please.
Okay, thank you so much for this research, but actually I have something to say. Dr. Muhammad, you've displayed statistics to demonstrate your idea. So if companies or organizations have decided to go to machine translations and are retreating from resorting to human translators, then let's take the following into our deep consideration. For example, the machine, and several times and every time you've said the word Zoom, misinterpreted into zoo, which is حديقة حيوان. And this is also after COVID-19. Zoom is a crucial word in your research. So if it is translated into zoo, this would be a great disaster. Another point, for example, you've said 8%, but pronounced it as 80%, but the machine again heard it and said 80%. So when we're talking about percentages and it's 8% to be translated or interpreted into 80%, this is again a disaster. Tourism was translated into terrorism. Instead of tourism, terrorism, which is tarhib. And again, this is a disaster. So I believe we translators need to take a serious action so that we can stop companies or organizations that are not using or not referring to translators. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Ilham. Who's else? Okay, I will give to Abdul Nasser. Yes, please.
Thank you. Do you hear me? Yes, I would like
Yes.
to give a comment on the presentation of the presenter. Actually, it was nice, but you know, I am now supervising students and master students who's doing a research about a comparison between a human translator and machine translation plus post editors, and those post editors are specialized in Arabic language. They don't have competent in English, but they have only knowledge or knowledgeable. They are knowledgeable in Arabic language. And now we are at the final stages of the research, and we found that post editing, especially for those specialized in Arabic, because the idea came, you know, who will be an excellent post editor, you know, an Arabic specialized or an English translator. So with the now we are in the final stage, and we found, you know, that the percentage of those you know, specialized in Arabic and I mean using machine translation plus post editing, they showed high results, more than those. I mean, the other sample was PhD students in translation studies. So we found, I think now we found that machine translation plus you know, expert language or target language experts, post editing is higher than human translators. I mean, not professional human translators, but we can say PhD students in translation studies. What I mean now, or what I want to conclude, that machine translation, and especially after 2016, and after the use of neural machine translation by Google Translate, and Microsoft, I think the quality of machine translation is getting higher and higher than it was before. So I think now we as translators, we should develop our skills in post editing and the work of machine translation, because this is we have to accept this, that machine translation is a very dominant discipline now in the field of translation. So even if you look at the quality of machine translation, it is getting very high and higher and higher. So and then now the studies are showing that post editing is a very important skill that should be taught to students of translation and also for translator themselves. And thank you.
Thank you, Dinar. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Ranja.
Dr. Munder, I think we crossed the time from another lecture.
Okay, so shall we go to the next?
I think we can't take any more questions.
Okay, thank you. Now, before I move to the next presenter, I will ask that Dr. Wasan Khalil Ahmed, or Dr. Wasan Khalid Ahmed, is she present? Okay, I will move to the next presenter, that is Samar Al-Abdallah wa Wissam Al-Shanti. They are both lecturers at University of Palestine, and they are going to present about attitudes of special education teachers towards employing infographic and teaching students with special needs in Palestine in light of the corona pandemic. I'll call upon Samar and her colleagues. Are they here? Samar and Wissam.
Okay.
I have seen Wissam writing something on the
Wissam Shanti.
Wissam sharing his screen, so we are still waiting the voice.
Okay, just a second. Wissam Shanti.
Naam, yes.
Okay, just a second. So I can give him.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Just a second, Wissam and Samar, please.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, Wissam Shanti, you are a co-host. Samira or Samar?
Samar Abdallah, yeah.
Yes, the floor is yours now, please.
Just a second, please.
Okay.
Samar.
First.
Samar and Wissam, same Dr. Amr, they are the same.
No. Samar Shanti and Wissam Shanti and Samar Al-Abadla.
They are presenting one paper.
Al-Abadla, okay, you are a co-host, Samar. Okay, you and Wissam.
First of all, I want to thank all of you, and a great thanks to Arab Translator Association very much for this useful and exciting meeting, especially to Dr. Amir. It's an honor to be invited to participate in this conference, me and my co-researcher Samar Al-Abadla, to present to you a research entitled with the attitudes of special education teachers toward employing infographic in teaching students with special needs in Palestine in light of the corona pandemic. We choose these students especially because they are neglected from all we need and we need to focus on their needs and the teachers' attitudes to improve and choose a good strategies to them. As John Dewey said, if you teach today's students as we taught yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow. So we saw that infographics can help these students to learn easily because they learn by interesting pictures and videos that they love it. Traditional learning make them boring and attract their attention. As we know, COVID-19 made a trouble all over the world. The government of Palestine announced that state of emergency on March 2020 and requested the closure or all the schools and universities in Palestine as a protective measure to avoid the spread of the coronavirus known as a COVID-19. The research aimed to identify the reality of employing infographic and teaching the students with special needs and their teachers' attitudes toward employing infographic in light of corona pandemic. The importance of this study is to identify to what extent, what extent the infographic is important in teaching as a modern technique, especially to help those students with special needs. Also, it comes in light of the low level of knowledge of most special education teachers to employ infographics in teaching, and their lack of how to design it in a way that suits the needs of these students. May this research can suggest some ways that help them to obtain perfect educational environment that suits their needs, especially in the pandemic, because this category is the most affected by COVID-19 virus. Unfortunately, they have difficulties in obtaining some information about the general health state, beside the obstacles of taking the necessary precautions of hygiene, as with the social distance affected negatively on them, as it's something didn't use and to somewhat hard to understand it, which calls for change in their lifestyle and restrict their freedom to communicate with others. As we know, the concept of infographics can be easily used in visual presentation of information. Knowledge constructed in academic courses could be applied in the visual design from presented in the static and motion infographic. Such learning schemes improve the human levels of the understanding and recognition as well as imagination. In addition, they have the ability to relate the various elements of different educational subjects together. The usage of infographic while producing electronic content in fast and easy way is widely spread. The importance of using infographics in education has increased as learners desire to understand certain topic by viewing rather than reading. Dimensions. There are several dimensions for this study, including time, the academic year 2020 and 2021. Place, Al-Amal and the Noor School, Gaza Strip, Palestine. Participants, special education teachers. Special education teachers, here there are many of definitions about the same research, which is first of all, special education teachers. Special education teachers who deliver specialized instructions and services to students with disabilities as required by the individualized education program of those students. Infographic, which is the most important in our study, and we focus on it, infographics, because it's a good technique or a new technique to focus on this students, special needs students in Gaza. Infographic is the art of transferring information and complicated data into cartoons, which are much easier for present and recognition. It doesn't require reading much information and more text, which leads to effective visual interaction. This art is also called interactive data visualization and information design. It may be represented using this question: information plus graphic means that it's infographic. It came from this division. It's in definition, which is information plus graphic equals that it is the infographic. I want to thank all of you, and I want to add that we need a new techniques in our society, or in Gaza City especially, because we suffer from a lot of things, lack of research in this field, especially special needs students, because when I try to find any studies about this topic, I didn't find enough studies to get any information about this. This is a lack of researchers. Also, I hope to add a new things to our conference, a good conference that I'm interested in. And thanks to all of you.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay.
And I will open the ground for questions now. If you are interested in asking any question, please raise your hand and I will give you the mic. If you are interested in asking questions, please raise your hand.
Dr. Munzer, maybe there is no question.
There is no. Okay.
Yeah, continue.
Now I will move to the last presenter.
I didn't hear any.
Who is Dr. Shaima Mahmoud Hassanin, a lecturer of English and American literature, Horace University, Egypt. And she will be talking about tracking the digital activity of students on Microsoft Teams.
Dr. Munzer, your voice is not clear. Dr. Munzer?
I will call upon the last presenter for today, Dr. Shaima Muhammad Hassanin. She is a lecturer of English and American literature, Horace University, Egypt. And she will be talking about tracking the digital activity of students on Microsoft Teams in Horace University. Dr. Shaima, the ground is yours. The floor is yours, please.
Yes, doctor, thank you. Can you hear me now? You
Yes.
can hear me now or not?
Yes.
Okay, thank you,
Yes.
doctor. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. Would you please make me a co-host?
Oh, just a second, Dr. Shaima. Just a second, please. Doctor.
I raised my hand so you can see
Okay,
me.
okay, just a second. Okay. Okay, make a co-host. Okay. Okay, Dr. Shaima.
Okay.
You are a co-host.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First, I'd like to thank all the participants, translators, and the chairman of the conference and the president of the association. And really, it is a great honor and a privilege to participate in the first international conference of Arab translators, ARTA, which will gain, I know that, a great historical significance. I'm very delighted to be here today. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Amir Al-Azm, President of ARTA, and Dr. Ayman Al-Halafawi, Chairman of the conference, for their great efforts in establishing the association and for giving me the opportunity to be here today and to be a presenter as well in this great event. Of course, my appreciation is also extended to all the translators, attendees, and the participants in this conference, and of course, the organizing committee. As I said, it's an honor to speak to you today. My presentation is about tracking the digital activity of students on Microsoft Teams at Horace University. Let me say first that Horace University is mainly located in Egypt, New Damietta. That's my country and my town. During this semester and since the beginning of pandemic, the whole academic world has been taken by surprise of how this will really work, the educational process, and how you can use technology through different educational platforms to reach satisfying results. Today, I will share you my experience in online education, show the procedures and the results. My case study will be Horace University, my students. But first, let me explore some points that I'm going to present today. First, I know that we have many challenges of online learning because we are used to face-to-face. Yes, doctor? Okay. Challenges of online learning, transformation from one-way to two-way process or education, different types of learning, and how to apply a platform, which is Microsoft Teams, which is very popular in universities, and how did I use it to improve the capacity of my students and ways of applying. And you will see now these pictures are real. They are my students, and this is the dean and me giving the students certificates. And we will say that we will just see how that transformation happened. This is we have different types of education. We have one-way method and two-way method. One way is a content-centered activity, and the two-way is a learner-centered. The second one, which is a two-way learning process, that's how we are going to make the students participate in the educational process itself. Okay, let me give you just a hint about the different types of learning. They are face-to-face learning, live meetings, online lectures that like the one we are having now, we are talking to our students. And the third one, which is uploading recorded material, which is very a challenging experience for me, at least. In Horace University, we use Microsoft application Teams. And Teams, I'm not going to just give you details about the Teams or the insights, but as well, I'm going to give you a hint about the insights. Through the insights, it's a tab in the Microsoft Teams. It tells me the activity of the students and how I can follow their activity, which is very important. Because when we have students that are depending mainly on online learning, then we cannot follow their interest, their activity on the platform. So how we can know that? I used the insights in the Microsoft Teams. The insights works when you have a team, you just add the tab insights. You can follow the activity of the students, time limit. You can see what are they doing. If they, I used to say to my colleagues, if the students breathe in front of the laptop, I can see that. How many times did he log in? Have he uploaded the material? Have he downloaded it? Was he active in the posts? Did he answer me? Everything I can follow his activity. So the students now feels that he is being noticed. He is being tracked by every activity and the following of the material. I'm just telling you that through these channels and the Microsoft Insights, I can see the students, I can get an Excel sheet about his activity, I can give him an assignment, and I can see his grade and return back his scores and so on. But this was not the main point. We can explore filters and so on. This is not the main point because we are mainly users. We are users of technology. The main important point here is how we use this technology in an interactive way so we can encourage the students to participate and to really fully understand the material we are given. I teach English language and American literature, and this is very theoretical. So some students would be very interested in following every lecture week by week. But through the insights, I used many things. Let me go back to the main types of education we use in Horace University. Well, number one, face-to-face learning. This is very easy because I get to see the students, they are in front of me. I encourage them to participate. I encourage them to make presentations. It was very easy, like the normal one. We don't have a real challenge, just to keep the students present and participate in the lecture, come and give a presentation. I'll show you the main elements of how to give a presentation. Please try one by one. Yes, they have the confidence in themselves, most of them, and they participated. And this is a picture of my students in Horace University in engineering and in physical therapy. They were very shy. They cannot speak. I don't want to participate. I'm very shy. I want to participate. I just come here and listen to the lecture. But I said, no, you have to participate just to try. This was the result. They come, they make presentations on topics, very interesting topics. Okay, concerning the second one, which is the online lecture. The online lecture, another challenge, but not like the last one. In the online lectures, I keep asking the students because they can unmute themselves. They can not give an attention to the lecture. So I try to call their names, participate. You can make online and virtual presentations. You can have the control. You can present your PowerPoint. I can encourage them. And here is an example of this. My students, we are in a meeting, and then one of my students is conducting a presentation, and they give me really fruitful results. Let's come the more important one, which the pandemic urged us to stay in it, which just uploading material. Imagine that I'm just uploading recorded material to my students. I don't get to see them. They may ask me just on Microsoft Teams on the posts. Nothing, they have the lecture, we have assignments, I don't see them. We don't have this interaction. This is very challenging point. What did I do? I just tried, let me show you through my Microsoft Teams. On our first meeting, I just gave them a welcome note. Please pay attention. There will be activities, there will be prizes, there will be certificates, so you can participate. I used the insights of Microsoft to show them that I can follow them and I can see their activities. This is the welcome note. This is my team. I teach them here technical report writing and physical therapy, Horace University. This is the welcome note. We don't have a very much activity here. They are seem not very interested about the subject, but I'm trying to urge them. Then you can see that we have a quiz, we have other things. I try to declare the top students. I gave them questions for interaction. Then that was a turning point, a crucial point for all students. I told them that I can give you a prize when you are the top active student for the month and for the week. I was not planning to give them the prizes or these steps, but I was just trying to get their attention in order to care much about the course. So I gave them what we can see here, that a praise, that yes, you are the top active student of the month. Then we gave them certificates. So they feel very interested in this matter. They come every minute I see them on my team and not other courses. These are these active. I'm waiting for them in the office. Then we had a picture. This is the dean and me giving a student a certificate. She was very happy about that. And this scene encouraged other students to participate and to have an interest in the course. So I kept doing that. The students in the course kept coming to me in my office hours, asking me, what should I do to be an active student? Okay, you can do 1, 2, 3. You can participate. You can study your course, and then you may be the top active student of the month or of the week. That was, as I said, that was very difficult for the students at the first time, but after that they got used to it and they found that they are very interested in their certificates and the prices, and they've got to be very interested in the course as well. These are just applications, welcome note, comments of my students. Then I asked them about the activity. What will we do in the activity? I don't see you most of the time. What will we do? I asked them to videotape themselves while conducting a presentation. And really, I was surprised by the results, because they made very interesting videos and they chose very interesting topics to be explored here in the course. After that, I said that you don't have to just make PowerPoint with a recorded voice. You can make videos, because I'm going to choose the best video. They did it. They were very interested. And you can see from the photos here, I just got a screenshot from the videos. They were very interested in this matter. This is a picture of the certificates I designed for my students to encourage them to be interested more in the topics and in the course. And these are the pictures of the students, while me giving them the certificates along with the dean and me alone, and a variety of pictures. Then we come to the main point, how the transformation happened. As you can see, that a lecture, or that's me, the instructor, is just explaining without giving the students a time and a chance to interact in the course. But after that, this transformation started from giving the student chance to participate in by their presentations. By the way, I asked them they can choose a topic from their major, or they can choose a topic, a common one, so they can feel free to give presentations. As you can see that the arrows goes on the transformation, then we are having a two-way transformation, where the student can participate just like the instructor. This will give him freedom to just not to learn the knowledge or not to learn the course, but this will teach him the skills, the main skills in the educational process. These are some of the comments of my students. I asked them, please, if you have other comments, you want to add something, maybe you have a new idea in the process of education, what can we do? Do you have some comments? And that's it. That was my experience in Microsoft Teams during the pandemic. I just used the techniques. We are, as I said, we are just users. I use the techniques to get fruitful results for the educational process. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Dr. Shaima, for your creative, informative, and interesting topic you have discussed. Thank you very much. And I will open the floor for questions now. Yes, Ilham.
Well,
yes, Ilham.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Actually, I don't have any question. I just want to thank you for this great presentation, for your accent, for all your effort with your students. I love such teachers, so I just wanted to thank you so much. You're so great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, really.
Any question, please? Yes, Dr. Nashat.
Hello again. It's my pleasure. I'd like to ask a question for Dr. Shaima.
Yes.
The question is, could you please elaborate on the activities, or also can we have the same issues and the same activities using virtual classrooms, Zoom, or any other type of classrooms?
Yes, Mr. Nashat. Concerning the activities, you can hear me? You can hear me?
Yes,
yes, okay.
Yes,
Mr. Nashat was talking about the activities, how we can make virtual activities, which is very important. As I said, it was a challenging one. The activities concerning just uploading material where you cannot see your students, you can urge them to make videotapes, but you cannot force them, of course. How can you do that? You tell them that you will give bonus grades if you made a wonderful videos on your activities. Another topic or another course that I was teaching is communication and presentation skills. So conducting a presentation and videotaping, this one was a demand, a real demand in the course. You should videotape and use creative ideas. When you see your students in office hours on just in the college, I tell them, please, I know you are creative. Make creative videos. Choose whatever topic you like, as long as it's concerning the educational system or educational process or your major. You can do it. Just try to encourage your students, and you will see really creative ideas. The second one, that concerning the videotaping presentations, I asked them to share the videos like the ones we do that now. And if you don't have the time if you are really concerned, you are just uploading material and we don't meet in live meetings, you can videotape and just upload them on the file folder on the Teams. And I watched them. I announced that I watched them. They were wonderful. I make a competition that I will choose the best video between the students and have a prize. These things or these elements can encourage them to really make creative ideas. And I have seen that among my students. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shaima. Any questions?
Thank you, Doctor.
We have Islam, Dr. Munzir.
Yes, Isra or Islam?
Islam.
Islam, please. Can you hear us? Unmute yourself, Islam. Islam, can you hear us? Unmute yourself, please.
He said that he has a problem. Maybe you can write your question on the chat.
Okay, Ilham, unmute yourself, please. Ilham, please.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Dr. Shaima. Your presentation really is very good.
Thank you.
I want to add, according to online activities and interactive activities through Teams. As I'm an English teacher or school teacher, we use that, yes, correctly. We can use interactive activities, maybe by games or electronic exams. And maybe also we can do that online or on chat or in our Facebook groups. Okay, is it?
Yes, I'm waiting for you to finish your question.
It's not a question. I was just adding an information as Mr. Nashat's question.
Yeah.
We can do our activities through online or on chat or in our Facebook groups. Thank you for your.
Okay, thank you for your comment, but let me tell you that the assignment, as you said, the online exams are not activities. The students consider them as a kind of torture. So we need to get out from this zone, this scope, to give them opportunity to be creative and have some skills in their personalities. So we did assignments. We have assignments online exams every week or every 2 weeks, but this is not a kind of activities. Maybe as you said, for the games are okay, nice for students in the schools, but in the university, They will not accept this. They will not accept games. So you need to work on their psychological, on mentally. I cannot tell the students in faculty of dentistry, physical therapy, or pharmacy that we are going to make games. Maybe this is acceptable in schools, but not really for students in the university. But we can make other things or other elements. Just give them a videotape yourself, make another activity. Do you have any other ideas? Do you have any other suggestions? This is very important for the university student because he is, we can say that he is in something, a character building skills more than you give him just orders, and so he can do it. Thank you for your comment, Ms. Ilham.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Khadija, please.
Yes.
And mute yourself, Khadija, and ask your question, please.
Yes. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you for your efforts. I am translator French. I have English, the second foreign language. I am translator French to Arabic and Arabic from Arabic to French, and English from English to Arabic. But the problem is how to have the best way to speak English, the best way to speak English fluently. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You may answer it. Thank you, Ms. Khadija, for your question. This is relative to my presentation, but I am going to answer you. I gave workshops on how to improve your English. The first advice I gave my students is to surround yourself with English. Surround yourself with English. How is that? Listen to music, watch American or English movies, see the translations so you can gain the vocab and you can listen. Try to mimic, try to videotape yourself or make audios of you. Listen to many audios at the same time you see the lyrics or you see the text so you can listen much to English. As you know, everyone, that we in learning any language should know 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Try to concentrate on every skill. And to say that you are learning a language is not like spoon feeding. No, you are not going to go to someone and tell him, please, I wanted to learn English now. No, this is not like that. You have to be a self-learner. You just take the tips and try to make them or to train yourself on listening, speaking, write, ask someone to correct you. But concerning how to be fluent in English, this is very good question. This is very important. You have to help yourself. You have to train yourself more. Listen to music, listen to more lessons. Don't be shy. At the same time, we can say that surround yourself with the language or surround yourself with English. Thank you, Ms. Khadija.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Because we have to round up our conference for today. Okay, no questions. I will leave the floor now to Nashat. Are you there? Mr. Nashat? Or Mr. Amir?
Yes, okay. Okay, there is Aya Shalabi. I want to thank you all for attending our conference. It was very fruitful, informative, useful, productive. We are very glad and proud to have you here today, and we welcome you all. And we also welcome our non-Arabic guests, and if they wish to introduce themselves, they are welcome to elaborate. ما في عندي شيء أنا.
And we have tomorrow also. Don't forget that we have tomorrow also. The second day of the conference is
Yes, it is a successful conference. It is attended by more than 1,000 attendees or attendants. Okay, so hope to see you tomorrow, and أنا ما عندي شيء. أنا برحب فيكم جميعا وبحييكم وبفتخر فيكم جميعا، وإحنا بنقدم صورة حضارية مشرفة عن الإنسان العربي، ونحن قادمون لنتحدى ونواجه حضاريا هذا العالم، ونحن نتحدى على قدم المساواة، لسنا أقل من الآخر، نرفض لغة الضعف والهوان، ونحن على مستوى التحدي الحضاري. هذا اللي أنا حاب أحكي، وأحيي كل المشاركين المحاضرين.
الله يعطيك العافية. أستاذ دكتور أيمن، دكتور أيمن موجود معنا.
Thank you for all of you for your efforts today. Many thanks for the presenter, the participant, and the audience. And we are waiting for all of you tomorrow, inshallah. Finally, I would like to thank Dr. Shayma Hassanin.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, for her presentation. Really, I enjoyed your last presentation. It was a very interesting topic. And we are waiting for all of you tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah. Regarding the certificates, I hope Mr. Hisham, he's coming in to answer the question, because he's in charge of registration and certificates of attendance. I hope he can answer.
Mr. Hisham with us, Mr. Amr.
Okay, Mr. Hisham, would you please answer the questions regarding certificates of attendance, when they can receive their certificates, today or tomorrow?
Would you please give him co-host, Mr. Amr?
Okay, but he can answer the question. Okay, I will give him a co-host. Just a second. Hello, Mr. Hisham, are you there? أنا مش شايف هشام. مش شايف هشام. أنت شايف هشام أخي الشاكوش؟
موجود معنا أستاذ، موجود معنا. أنا أعطيته أكسبت.
مش شايفه. احكي يا أخي هشام.
ممكن يكون في عنده مشكلة بالنت، لأنه كأنه رجع طلع.
Hello Patricia, how are you?
Okay,
أنا بتوقع بالنسبة للشهادات.
The certificates, as long as you have registered for one of the session, you will receive your certificate through your email, inshallah, by the end of the conference.
يعني tomorrow or day after tomorrow, inshallah, it will be in your email.
Okay, you are waiting for your participation tomorrow, inshallah. All the best.
Okay, I would like
دخل هشام. دخل هشام. Okay, هشام. Okay, Hisham, are you there? Shauki, how are you? Hello, Hisham.
There may be some problems with the connection with Dr. Hisham.
مش يعني احنا على فكرة بدنا احنا كعرب نحكي بشكل قوي. يعني صرنا سنة في الكورونا اللعين، يعني لازم يعني احنا اكيد البنية التحتية عندنا رثة، لا كهرباء ولا انترنت ولا فلوس الحمد لله، وأمية رقمية بنصدر للبشرية، بس صرنا سنة يعني لازم يعني نعمل ثورة على أنفسنا، ما نضلش نقول إنترنت أو ضل كهرباء وضل يعني لازم ما فيش، صرنا مخلوقات رقمية في هذا العصر الكوروني. ممتاز يعني. ف يعني بدناش نضل نتحجج احنا في الانترنت، يعني يحلها كل واحد عنده في الحياه، مش انا بحكي عن حدا، يعني بحكي بشكل عام، لاني كل يوم بسمع هاي القصص انترنت، والانترنت صار مش قادرين ننتصر على هذا العدو اللعين او الكهرباء الى اخره. بس هيك. اخي هشام موجود انت هان؟ بعد انعقاد. طيب رائع إن شاء الله. Certificates of attendance will be sent to your email tomorrow at the end of the conference. Also, we'll publish the link of certificates on ARTA Facebook page. So you can, if you don't get it by email, so you can just click the link, just follow up our Facebook page. So you can just click and get your certificates. Just write down your name and you will find your certificate, inshallah.
Thank you, Mr. Amir. Again, I would like to thank all the presenters who have presented today, all the participants who were with us from early morning. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you again tomorrow with another session, which will be very interesting about language translation and literature. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
See you. Have a nice day.
Just a minute, Shawkiya, you can unmute yourself. Shawkiya, unmute yourself and ask your question.
احنا بدنا كل العرب يدخلوا بالكاميرا بالسلاح الابيض.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Shawkiya Hawawra from Palestine. Thank you very much for these excellent and fabulous presentations. Thank you all presenters, all participants, all organizers. End of this session. How can we protect translating the Holy Quran from losing its content? As you know, we can translate it, but how can we protect it from losing its main content? After translation, I mean.
You know, the Holy Quran has been translated for decades into many languages. Why we have to worry? There are, you know, well-known organizations who are, you know, I mean, translating or publishing or protecting. Arabs and Muslims are everywhere to protect their, you know, and to explain, to interpret their Holy Quran. So there are many versions, English versions for the Holy Quran. And still people are, I don't know, there are institutions who translate and protect the interpretation of the Holy Quran. So do we have to translate it again?
So inserting some, yes, inserting some, for example, incorrect beliefs or incorrect things through translation.
Yeah, but you know, Moses Malik Fahd, you know, Malik Fahd, Quran Kareem, you know, they have hundreds of translators, you know, they follow up their translations. They have hundreds of, I don't know, revisers, reviewers, etc. So I think Quran is not in danger. You know, one of the participants asked, is Arabic in danger? How come Arabic can be in danger if it's the language of the Holy Quran? You know, so,
yes, and also our God says in his Holy Quran, إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون. I know, but I mean that not all the associations or companies that translate it are honest in translating it.
Look, you know, you know, I have been watching hundreds of videos or episodes about Muslims in YouTube, about new converts. I feel, you know, Islam is spreading, is in a good condition. I'm not worried, and new converts are giving or supporting Islam more than Arabs and, you know, born Muslims. So we don't have to worry about our language, about the Holy Quran, about Islam. You know, there are millions in Europe, in USA, everywhere, who are conveying the message of Islam. So I don't think that we have to worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
So,
okay, actually, Ichwana, please, if I pronounce the name correctly. Okay,
Where is
please.
Aishin?
Please
Yes,
unmute yourself. Yes.
It is Aishin, and thank you so much. I'm used on this. I just want to thank you all for this great opportunity. And I just have a tip for one of the colleagues who was asking how to improve her language skills, especially in English. I am a Francophone. I used to not to speak English properly. All you have to do is to practice and read a lot. And I want to thank you all because I really, really enjoyed and learned a lot from today's conference. Thank you so much.
Could you please pronounce the name again?
Yes, it's you know, misspelled. It's Aishin Muhammad.
Aishin. Okay.
Not Aishin, not Aishin.
Not Aishin, no.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hanan Zaruf. Unmute yourself, Hanan. Hanan.
صوت مسموع؟ صوت مسموع؟
تفضل يا حنان.
مسموع، تفضلي.
فقط أقدم اقتراح للمنظمين المؤتمر كحل المشكلة التي واجهت اليوم المحاضرين وعدم هدر الوقت. وهذه المشكلة هكذا تم حلها في الجامعة عندما شاركت في مؤتمر في الجامعة، وكانت لدينا نفس المشكلة أن البعض لم يكن قادر على تحميل الPPT بسبب مشاكل لديه بالزوم أو الإنترنت أو إلى ما هنالك، فتم إرسال الPPT قبل يوم، قبل 24 ساعة من المؤتمر إلى المشرفين. في حال تم هناك أي مشكلة أو حصلت أي مشكلة في الإنترنت يتم المشرف على المؤتمر بعرض الPPT، أما المحاضر فيقوم بالقراءة من خلال الأثري المتوفر لديه. فمجرد مقترح فقط.
Thank you very much. شكرا إن شاء الله. إلهام.
نعم، داخلي انتحاري اليوم معنا.
إلهام بليز.
اللي بدي علق يا اخوان، احنا وجودكم يعني سعداء فيه، يعني مش
إلهام سمعتينا؟ تفضلي يا إلهام. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm thanking you for this great conference, which has been really fruitful. I just want to ask, how can we keep in touch with Dr. Shayma as well as Dr. Mohammed Safdar Baiti? I've sent them in chat, private chat, but I would like to ask how we can communicate with them, if there is any means to communicate with them, their email, their phone number, and thank you so much.
May I answer that? Thank you, Ms. Ilham. You can communicate if you like. I can write down my email and I have my phone number in the WhatsApp groups. You can ask me anytime or you can communicate. I'll write my mail now on the chat.
And I think the book of the conference is available for everyone. It has the abstract for each paper and the bio data for the presenter.
Okay, Aya Shalabi, please. Aya Shalabi.
السلام عليكم. يعطيك العافية.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. تفضلي.
الله يسعدك. Thank you. Thank you so very much for this conference. It was very fantastic for me. Actually, I'm standing in front of professional translators, but from my side, I am just in the beginning. And absolutely, I'm learning from you. But actually, my first question and a very important question for me is just to give me a piece of advice, who would like to absolutely, how to improve myself. I mean, I cannot speak side of the language. I mean, Dr. Shayma and the others said a very fantastic words. How could we improve ourselves, our language? But I think that I'm trying to work. I'm trying to find some sites to work for. But as a beginner, I think that they use me. I mean, they don't give me the price. I think that, I don't know, but the price that it's good for a translator. I mean, I don't know how much do I have to ask for your word. I have this idea. So I'm just asking you, please, if you could explain for us more. For me, as a beginner, as I told you, how can I ask for my rights? I really do not know. I don't have this information just to ask about that. And thank you so very much for your wonderful advices. Thank you for this wonderful conference and for your politeness as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can just say one sentence regarding the language, how to improve your language. You have to use the language. You have to mingle with the people speaking the language as much as you can. You can pick up the language. Regarding the translation and the prices, this is I to leave it to a specialist who are specialized in translation. Maybe Dr. Amir or Mr. Amir will answer that question.
Anybody, Ranja, any experienced professional translator may answer. Aya, please. Ranja, what do you recommend, Ranja?
My experience, what I've been noticing, every country has their own rate. I'm not sure where Aya is located right now. What we've been getting here in Australia, it's quite good. Talking with more experienced people worldwide, they're saying with the machine translation recently, rates are getting.
Your voice is not clear, Ranja.
Exactly. I just wanted to tell her that I couldn't hear you very well. I can't hear you very well.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you say, Aya.
And Dr. Raja, I'm speaking with you from Sweden.
From Sweden?
From Sweden, and I'm working freelance actually.
And you do translation from English into Arabic?
English, Arabic, and Swedish.
And Swedish. I think if you leave, please, your email, try to check something, certain agencies in Europe, and you can take that standard. For here in Australia, usually the agencies pay us between $16 to $20 for 100 words. As a freelancer, sometimes I can ask for more. But I noticed that sometimes I've been offered much less than that, like between $7 to $12. Even when I went on the site of Rosie, I was really surprised with the rates that's been mentioned.
I can leave my mail in the chat, so maybe you can actually give me from your information. And I really do not know, but you know that it's going to be for a living. It's right that I'm living nowadays in Sweden, but I'm working through the internet with companies from China, from Turkey, from Lebanon, from Iraq, from Palestine, even though sometimes. So that's why I'm just asking, how much do I have to ask? And I'm so sorry actually to bother you or to take from your time, but if you can.
Not all. It would be my pleasure actually, but check for China, you need to pay the Chinese rate, and the Chinese rate is totally incompetitive. When they some of them probably they will take $5 for 100 words.
I don't know, Dr. Raja, if it's okay, but actually I tried to search for the translation companies through the internet and then send them. I sent them.
Miss Aya, excuse me, just to inform all participants that the conference has been ended and this is a free conversation. Anybody wants to leave, it's okay for them.
أنا آسفة كتير.
It's okay because some of them are waiting. They maybe say that there is something related to the conference still. So anybody wants to leave, we will meet them again tomorrow, inshallah. Dr. Munder, Mr. Amir, if you need to say something.
Okay. لا آية اتفضل يا دكتور
تفضل دكتور يلا.
أنا بدريش يعني سؤالك عن كيف تطوري قدراتك، هذا السؤال يا آية؟
لا يا أستاذ عامر، بدك تعرف قديش تأخذ على الترجمة.
الترجمة أنا على فكرة مفكر نعمل لنا ندوة مؤتمر. شو ما هو المشكلة اللي فيه، أنت الأسعار هاي يعني رغم أنا أصدرت بيان من 10 سنوات ابحث عنه، بيان اتحاد المترجمين العرب بشأن أسعار الترجمة. يعني هاي المشكله اللي بتقدرش تنافس، لانه في ناس حسب الظروف الاقتصاديه في كل بلد عربي في ناس بينافس عليك. يعني احيانا انت اللي بتطلب سعر عالي، مش عالي، ما في معايير عالميه. احيانا في ناس حتى هان بيجي بيقول لك بدي اسعار ممتازه، لكن هان في فلسطين، لكن لما بده يجي يترجم بروح على مصر يعني بده ياخذ ب $25، لكن ما بده يدفع لواحد فلسطيني ب $10، بده يروح على مصر. احنا نعاني من تناقض هائل. يعني احنا برضه المترجمين مبخسين حالنا. انا قبل شهر بشتغل في مؤسسه كبيره، ولا هي واحد هيك بعدوا مثل معايير في جنبي في المكتب الثاني، بتقول انه هم قسم الاعلام موظف الترجمه. رديت عليها فورا، قلت لها مش موظف المترجم مثقف ومفكر، تقولي له موظف هيك؟ يعني هم بيحكوا في اشياء اداريه. احنا مبخسين من حالنا. لهذا السبب يعني لازم نثقف الناس. لحد الان ما عندهم يعني حتى لسه في الوطن العربي تقول له مترجم يعني مش ممكن تكون مدير بعتبرك، ولا ممكن سفير او وزير، بدك تضلك طرطور بين الادارات وتشتغل شحات في هذا العالم. احنا مبخسين حالنا وما فيش جهه تدافع عنا الله عن الشيطان. فاحنا لازم الاسعار، يعني تقدر تطلب اسعار. انا بطلبش $25، لا اقبل لو بنتحر اخر